I would like to ask the audience to welcome the deans, chairs, faculty, doctoral candidates, student speakers, and student award winners to the stage. You guys, I would like to invite the audience to stand to welcome the class of 2016. I would invite our guests and our graduates to be seated. To our distinguished graduates, the loving family members, supportive friends, nurturing faculty, and diligent staff, welcome to the Milano Recognition Ceremony. I'm Michelle DePass, Dean of the Milano School of International Affairs, Management, and Urban Policy, and I will serve as your MC for today's momentous event. This is my third Milano graduation, and each year it remains a bittersweet moment for me. As each year, I'm privileged to know an increasing number of you amazing graduating students. And I get to know you quite intimately. I get to laugh with you, sometimes listen to your frustrations, but mostly celebrate life's successes with you. And I'm gonna miss you all as you move onto your pathways. This academic year, we as a nation have been in the midst of a very public and divisive presidential election. The primaries have brought the realization that a whole swath of the American public are deeply disturbed by the direction of the country. A situation that was discussed this past year in our 2016 primary election series, Politics and Policy. This has been an unprecedented primary season with Black Lives Matter protests, college campus, political activists, and blue-collar workers, reminding us that we've turned our backs on them. Globally, the Syrian refugee crisis continues to rage on. Crucial international battles rage over the Trans-Pacific Partnership and the Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership. These agreements were widely discussed at the New School Conference that weighed economics and finances versus the issues of justice and transparency. And we have important political openings in Cuba and Iran. And Milano quickly reacted to this change by starting a program in Cuba this summer. We were saddened to learn of the recent passing of three of our great leaders, Dr. Robert Kervin, former dean of the Milano School, and Chair Emeritus and long-serving trustee, Julian Studley, supporter of the recently renamed Studley Graduate Program in International Affairs, and John Tishman, former trustee and staunch environmental scholarship supporter. These leaders left a large mark on the philanthropic landscape of this city and the New School, and we're grateful for their contributions. So I stand before you today, so proud in the knowledge to know that you are all ready for the challenge that's ahead of you. You chose to come to Milano, and I know you'll be continuing on your path to help this world of ours critically examine itself and assist us towards a way forward for our hearts and our minds. We're very real here in Milano. Our students have led change across this university, from issues around food equity, pay equity, and race. Your commitment to our school leaves the New School a richer place and space. For this, I thank you. Finally, this year, the Milano Alumni Ambassadors Program hosted alumni gatherings in Washington, D.C., New York, Atlanta, LA, San Francisco, and it's become a stronger way for alumni to stay connected to the school. We have new ways for you to keep in touch through the beautifully redesigned Milano blog, of which I have to give a big shout out today to Brian Moran, today's nonprofit management graduate who redesigned it. And tomorrow, you all become alumni. So please stay in touch. We're going to reach out, and we look forward to welcoming you into the alumni community with this class of 2016. We'll be watching you, supporting you, and cheering you on. I salute you for your accomplishments today and congratulate you on your graduation. It's my pleasure to welcome Dean Mary Watson, Executive Dean of the New School for Public Engagement. Coming up.
Well, this is an exciting evening, isn't it? As Michelle said, I'm Executive Dean of what's called the New School for Public Engagement, which includes the Milano School, the School of Media Studies, School of Undergraduate Studies, and the School of Writing. And those capacities, I've had the great privilege and pleasure to participate in 4 commencement ceremonies since this time yesterday. And so I'm very pleased to say that this one holds a particularly special place in my heart because I, in addition to my dean's role and other roles in the university, am also a member of the Milano Management faculty, and I am a former chair of the Milano Management programs. And so I know you quite well from being a program chair and faculty member, and also worked with Mike Cohen and Marika Gutman on the very first IFP field trip in Buenos Aires. So I know a little bit about the context here, and I'm very excited to share some comments from that perspective. So first, of course, it's all and perhaps only about you. So let's have a round of applause for the Milano class of 2016. So I want to start my remarks by saying thank you to all the parents and family members we have in this room. The graduates here could not have done it without you. I'd also like to thank and recognize Dean Michelle DePass and Associate Dean Nina Khrushcheva, as well as the program chairs, directors, faculty, and staff. So the first order of business is a couple of thank yous to 2 of our faculty members who are completing their time of service at the Milano School. So first I want to say a few words about Martin Greller, who is retiring this year. Martin is a professor of management at Milano. He joined the New School in 2003. He has served in a number of capacities at the university, including Associate Dean for Academic Affairs. He chaired the Human Resource Management program at Milano. He's been president of Personnel Strategies, Inc. in New Jersey and directed Human Resources at the New York Times. He's got 4 books published and nearly 50 articles, as well as a lot of academic conferences and other kinds of materials. In his 13 years at the New School, Martin has devoted a lot of time and energy to university service and to working with students. He's been on the University Teaching and Learning Committee, the Faculty Council, the Budget Committee, Curriculum Committee, and he has also been, since 2013, the interim chair of the Board of Directors of the Corbin Hill Food Project. Martin, we'll miss you. We wish you well in your retirement. Congratulations. My second words of farewell are to someone much more junior in his experience at Milano. Jeff Smith, assistant professor of politics and advocacy at Milano, will be completing his Milano service at the end of this academic year. I'll say a little bit more about what's Jeff's destination, but let me make a few comments about Jeff. Jeff has been teaching and researching in political campaigns, advocacy, urban political economy, and the legislative processes. He's written 2 books, many articles, and been on many media appearances. His most recent book, Mr. Smith Goes to Prison, was published in September, which is a profound, disturbing, and sometimes funny recollection of Jeff's time in prison. He exposes the glaring holes in the American criminal justice system and shines a light on the tragic race-based cycle of poverty and injustice. Jeff played a leadership role in the university during the Black Lives Matter movement last year when he published an Amazon single, Ferguson in Black and White. And it's because of this passion to make a difference in prison reform that Jeff is leaving Milano, sadly, to return home to St. Louis, where he will begin working with Concordance Academy, a new nonprofit to help formerly incarcerated persons successfully re-enter the community. Led by ex-Wells Fargo advisor CEO Danny Ludman, Concordance Academy works with its sister group, the Washington University-based Concordance Institute, to create a holistic re-entry model for returned citizens. Jeff, we'll miss you very much. We know it's your home. You feel you have to go. We wish you well. All right, take a deep breath. That was kind of heavy. All right, so now, because that wasn't interesting enough, I'm going to give you a 60-second short history lesson. So nearly 100 years ago today, the new school was founded on the principles of open access to higher education, curricular pathways across the humanities, fine arts, and social sciences, and the freedom to explore the issues that were most in the minds, hearts, and students who entered here. The new school was created by a group of dissident scholars, John Dewey among them, who wanted to make an active statement about what they perceived as the rigidity and timidity of other universities. We've evolved since then, merging with the Parsons School of Design in the 1970s and becoming a large urban university. This auditorium is one of the physical manifestations of our evolution, but at the core, we have been and we always will strive to be a different kind of university. So for example, we have a lot of firsts in our history. We've consistently offered some of the first courses of study in important fields, including the fields of African American studies and women's studies. We've invited and hosted some of the world's most iconoclastic faculty and public intellectuals to our campus over our 100 years, including luminaries such as W.E.B. Du Bois, Margaret Mead, Eric Fromm, Martha Graham, Frank Lloyd Wright, James Baldwin, Grace Paley, Robert Frost, and Martin Luther King Jr. And most recently, at Milano and other places at the university, we continue to host contemporary change makers, including Naomi Klein, who launched her book, This Changes Everything, on climate on this very stage. Ben Jealous, former president and CEO of the NAACP, who was recently designated Young Global Leader at the World Economic Forum. Van Jones, a civil rights activist and environmental activist. And others, many others, including the folks we're going to see tomorrow at our honorary degrees recipients at the commencement ceremony. Also on this stage last year, we welcomed Laura Poitras, whose film Citizen 4 won the Academy Award and for Best Documentary, and projected on this screen was Edward Snowden from an undisclosed location in Russia. So I want you to know this because I want you to understand that you're part of a long and important legacy in this university. And the stage that you're walking across tonight, maybe not physically because it's a new building, has hosted a lot of really important and distinguished people who have gone on to make significant change in the world. And you will do the same. The Milano School was launched in 1975 out of the Center for New York City Affairs and was named after trustee Robert J. Milano, who was a New York-based entrepreneur and philanthropist. So the point that I'm trying to make is that you came to this university because it was a different kind of university. It's a time in universities where we're disrupting cycles and patterns of things, and it's a time in professional fields where things are changing. They're more interconnected, the problems are more complicated, and there's a lot of uncertainty. So what I want to point out is that you are also different kinds of students, learners, and alumni. That where others seek convention and working on things that are going to be improved within the status quo, you came here and did things. You didn't ask for permission. You challenged paradigms. You made change. You created new ways forward. And you will continue to do that as you move forward in your careers. So you'll hear a lot of commencement speeches excerpted on the web and in other places about finally you're ready to face the world that's ahead. And I want you to remind everyone who tells you that you've been facing the world for a very, very, very long time. Congratulations.
Now it's my pleasure to introduce our first student speaker, Ella Coley, Julian J. Studley Program in International Affairs. Please come up.
Thanks, Michelle. It's a huge honour to speak on this stage straight after yourself and Mary, not to mention in a room filled with so many inspiring people. It's inevitable that at times like these, we think a lot about the future. Everyone, including us, wants to know what's next. And so what I want to do here for a few minutes is to give us permission to actually just dwell on what's happened, where we've come from, and how we ended up in this room today. To begin, I want to start by acknowledging the traditional owners of this land here. We are meeting and celebrating on the lands of the Lenape people, the first inhabitants of New York. I start like this because it's important to know and acknowledge our past in order to give this space and this moment the respect that it calls for. And I also start like this because it's an important part of my own culture. In Australia, we start every formal occasion with an acknowledgement like this, and we pay our respects to elders past, present, and future. This is an important part of me that I carried with me to the new school, and we all brought our own backgrounds, experiences, and histories. We also had our own reasons for coming here. Some of you, I'm sure, had very specific reasons. I myself came on more of a whim. I'd never actually been to New York before I decided to come to the new school, and everything that I knew about the new school was from the website, the controversial website, though perhaps not the one that's as controversial as the current one, but anyhow. What I understood from that was that the school was different, and besides that, however, it was a total stroke of luck that I ended up in an institution that ended up offering me the things that at that point I didn't even know that I wanted. I signed myself up for grad school with a really specific vision of what it would look like. That vision involved sitting in an armchair, reading a book, under a window, a sunlit window, during the middle of the day on a weekday. Yeah, you laugh, because you already know where this is going. If this was actually what I'd wanted, then I would be graduating from here sorely disappointed, because instead of ending up comfortably sitting in an armchair, I found myself literally and figuratively trying to stay afloat. Oh, sorry about that. So, figuratively, as I'm sure we all did, living in the city isn't easy, no matter how far we are from home. And grad school isn't easy either. There was never enough time to read in the middle of the day, and no one has space in their apartment for an armchair, let alone one that's underneath a sunlit window. So in my case, I also found myself literally trying to stay afloat, and very happily so. This scene happened in Brazil. I was working off the coast of a small town on the island of Ilha Grande. I was working with a group of young surfers to make a short video about their connection with the sea and the ocean. I had a GoPro in one hand, and I was frantically trying to catch my breath so that I could speak to them in broken Portuguese and we could get the shots that we needed and get out of the water. To make this scene even stranger, my new school friends, many of whom are here today, were on a beach waiting for the main character of another video to return from its swim. This character happened to be a penguin that is now world famous after we made this video. But we weren't just there to make cute videos about penguins and surfers. We were on the new school's international field program, and through this program, we'd partnered with a local organisation to make an online documentary to support community tourism on this island. This participatory media project was responding to some of the environmental, social, and economic challenges of this particular place. This moment for me was one of complete elation, because somehow all of the pieces of my education and my experience and my personality had collided and come together in this completely unexpected way. And for all of us here, our feelings about our time at the new school are the sum of many things. They're not just about our classes, our assignments, and the hours of reading that we may or may not have done. They're about our fieldwork, our projects, and the activities that we engage with in order to inspire and nourish ourselves here in the city. They're also about our feelings about living in this mad place, however far we are, and, of course, the important conversations that we had at Treehouse, Bar 6, and Spain Restaurant. But more than anything, our feelings about this place come down to our mentors and our friends. It's about the confidence that we have in each other and the way in which that reflects back on ourselves. And all of this adds up to where we are now in this room. To the skills that we didn't know we had, to the ways that we think differently, to the things we now know that we don't know, and to our own sense of the kind of world that we want to live in and the way in which we're going to go about creating it. Right now, I think for most of us, it's kind of hard to have this perspective because we're exhausted, we're overwhelmed, we're broke, and we're facing a lot of uncertainty. But I'm sure that each of us has had a moment here at the new school, or perhaps a few, that really punctuated our experiences. A moment like the one I described for myself in Brazil. A moment that makes all the other moments make sense, that we can draw on for energy and inspiration, where we achieved something that we didn't know we were capable of, that happened because we said yes to a cascading number of things, and one of those things was deciding to come and do graduate school here. I think that right now we actually deserve another one of those moments. This is the first and likely the last time that we're all going to be in this room together. And this particular moment is the culmination of the tangle of experiences and connections that we've all shared these last few years. So let's appreciate that, and let's use it to ground ourselves. Let's celebrate our achievements, acknowledge our struggles, and express the eternal gratitude we owe to the people that made this all possible. Our friends and family, staff, faculty, and of course each other. So with that in mind, I'd like to end with a quote, well, two, to be specific. They're from unknown authors, inscribed on the wall of a bathroom in this here building on the 6th floor. The first quote reads, "This school sucks." S-U-X, of course, all caps. To which someone had carefully responded, "If you think it sucks, spelled correctly, you're not doing it right." So, whether or not we've done it right, we made it here. Congratulations to everyone. Thank you so much, and all the best.
Thank you, Ella. That was beautiful. And now I'd like to welcome Finn Brigham from the Nonprofit Management Program to the podium.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I want to say congratulations to all the graduates. I know each of you has your own unique story of how you ended up in this room, but if it was anything like mine, it involved many Sunday evenings doing homework instead of watching The Walking Dead. It meant stressing over finals and putting off our holiday shopping. For many of us, it meant balancing a full-time job and school, running across town after work for class, when all you really wanted to do was be home with your partners, your friends, your children, or at happy hour. It meant gutting out statistics homework when most of us hadn't done math in 15 years. I am not sure how I passed that class. Please don't double check. I don't know all of your stories, but I'm sure you worked very hard to get here, so please let this evening be a night of congratulations for a job well done. I imagine everyone in the Nonprofit Management Program began it because they wanted to help make their small piece of the world better. That was my motivation, at least. I imagine that many of you chose the new school because of their commitment to social justice. Each of us probably has a cause that is close to our heart that made pursuing this master's degree important. Let's be honest. If you entered the nonprofit field for the money, someone gave you bad advice. We do it because we care passionately about a certain cause, whether that cause is housing for the homeless, ensuring that all people have access to clean water, or keeping the arts in schools. For me, that cause is LGBT rights, and specifically trying to improve the health and safety of transgender people. As a trans person myself, I can admit that I've had an easier road than most. When I came out to my mother, she said she would be proud to call me her son. This is not the story that most trans people have. In fact, it's usually quite the opposite. Many trans youth are kicked out of their homes at a young age and forced to live on the unsafe streets. Years ago, I worked at an LGBT youth homeless shelter and heard the story of many youth that were rejected by their families and felt that the shelter was the first place they had ever felt safe. that the shelter was the only reason they hadn't killed themselves. Currently, I work at an LGBT health center and have worked hard to ensure that trans people have respectful, comprehensive, and affordable health care. I've heard horror stories of the way people have been treated in emergency rooms, being denied care, being physically assaulted, staff putting on extra pairs of gloves to touch them. And these healthcare injustices pale in comparison to the violence that trans people face on a day-to-day basis. In the past 10 years, one trans person every month has been murdered, and the average lifespan for a transgender woman of color is 35. I'm sure you've all heard of the recent legal battles in North Carolina, Alabama, and Mississippi about bathroom rights. In case you haven't, these states have passed legislation stating that trans people have to use the bathroom that matches their birth certificate or risk being arrested. Thank you. To be clear, my birth certificate says female. I have been using the men's bathroom for 5 years. I cannot imagine having to use women's rooms, especially in these states. I imagine most of you in the room, the last time you went to the bathroom, you didn't worry about whether you'd be arrested. I want to take a minute to congratulate the new school on having gender-neutral bathrooms. I don't say all of this to try to convince you to make my cause your own. I'm sure each and every one of you could speak as passionately about your own cause. I say this to say we need to continue to fight to make sure our causes continue and that the world continues to march towards progress and compassion. Let's be honest, we are all privileged to be here. This degree comes with an obligation. Use the privilege you have to fight every day for your cause. As we move through our careers from frontline staff to managers and directors, remember why you started this work. Spend time with the clients that you serve. Listen to what they want and need. Involve them in your work and decision-making process. As I wrap up, there's a few people I want to thank briefly for the support they gave me over the course of my master's program. My friends, my favorite professor, Robin. My sister, Kimberly, my partner, Kendall. I want all of the friends and the family in the room to know that although we did this for ourselves, believe it or not, we did it for you too. We did it so that your lives could be better, so that we could do better with our careers, and so that you would be proud of us. Finally, I want to thank most of all my mother. Although my family has been incredibly supportive of my transition, we faced a devastating blow 3 years ago. My mother was diagnosed with acute leukemia 1 month after I began my master's program. She died this September, 2 months before I finished my program. From her hospital bed, she was plotting ways that she could be at my graduation, even if that meant being wheeled here with her oxygen mask attached. It is truly awful to not have her in this room. But I will tell you what she would have told me today so that you can all have the wisdom of her advice. She would say that no one can take this master's away from you, that no matter what your career holds, no matter what you do for the rest of your lives, you are the proud owner of a master's degree. You have earned it. It is yours. It represents hard work, a commitment to your craft, a mastering of your profession. She would say she never got the opportunity to go to college, and she can't believe that I have a master's. She would remind you of how lucky you are to be sitting in this room. She would look you in the eye and say, I am so proud of you, and she would mean it. And I will say it to all of you because she can't. I'm so proud of you, all of you.
Finn, thank you for that. And I have the pleasure of introducing Derek Hamilton, Director of the Milano Public and Urban Policy Doctoral Program, to the podium. Derek.
In the future, the students should go last because I this is a setup for failure. So let me begin by offering greetings to the deans, to the directors and chairs, to my fellow faculty, to staff, to family, friends, and most importantly, to the graduates of Milano class of 2016. I'm going to say a couple of words about our doctoral students in general, and then I'm going to introduce the dissertation committee chairs who will hood this year's doctoral class. Okay. But first, I want to acknowledge my predecessor, Professor David Howell, for whom I inherited a doctoral program to direct that was in excellent shape. Thank you, David. In my view, diversity is increasingly an overused word that is often void of substance in its use. However, when characterizing the Milano doctoral program in public and urban policy, we can say, with the utmost pride and sincerity, that we have one of the most diverse doctoral programs in the country. Not only are our students diverse in background, they're diverse in terms of their race, their ethnicity, ancestral background, ranging from various parts of the Caribbean, Europe, Africa, and Latin America, as well as other places. They're also diverse in their research interests and their academic training, including urban studies, public policy, economics, political science, sociology, architecture, design, and international affairs. Nonetheless, what unifies all of our students is their pursuit of theoretical and empirical approaches that bring insights from multiple social sciences to produce policy-relevant knowledge that fosters a more socially, politically, and economically inclusive society. The work of our doctoral degree recipients that we honor today continue to exhibit this excellence. So not able to be here today, I want to mention Zoe Hamstead and her dissertation title. She's one of our graduates this year. Her dissertation title is A Spatial Temporal Approach for Understanding Vulnerability and Resilience in Extreme Heat in New York City. That's a lot, it's a mouthful. All right. Her dissertation chair is Tishman McPherson, who's an assistant professor in urban ecology, and the chair of the Environmental Studies program at the New School for Public Engagement. Richard McGahey, who is the senior vice president of programs at the Institute for New Economic Thinking and former Milano professor. Anna Baptiste, who is an assistant professor of professional practice in the Environmental Policies and Sustainable Management program and the chair of the Environmental Program and Sustainable Development Management. Carson Farmer, who's an assistant professor of geography at the University of Colorado Boulder. And just to give you a brief description of her dissertation, it involved detecting change over space and time. Detecting change over space and time is crucial for identifying who has access to resources and who is vulnerable to threats. In her dissertation, Zoe uses the concept of vulnerability and resilience to understand heterogeneity and inequality of urban systems, focusing on problems of measurement and evaluation of extreme heat threats in New York City. I'm happy to announce that Zoe will be an assistant professor in the Urban and Regional Planning Department at the State University of New York in Buffalo next fall. So it gives me great pleasure to now introduce my colleague, Lisa Servon, who in the tradition of training our next generation of scholars, has a forthcoming book entitled The Unbanking of America, How the New Middle Class Will Survive. Lisa is my former dean and current professor of urban policy. Lisa will do the hooding of Tony Castro-Casillo and Linda Thompson. Lisa, please join me.
Welcome, everyone. I have the pleasure of introducing to you two new graduates. And what's really special about being in the academy and having people graduate with a PhD is that they no longer are our students, they become our colleagues, which is an incredible moment. So we will always be here for you to mentor and advise you, but you don't have to listen to us anymore. So I'm going to start with calling up Maria Antonietta Castrocosio. Please come up. Most of you know her by Tony, as I do. Tony wrote an amazing dissertation called Dealing with Uncertainty, Infrastructures for Resilience in Urban Communities. And perhaps you noticed that the word resilience was in the last dissertation as well. It's become kind of a buzzword in policy, and Tony took that on in her dissertation, which consisted of 3 mutually independent but linked papers to understand whether resilience is really a useful concept for policymakers. She did on-the-ground research in Western Queens on a tree planting initiative, participatory observation and ethnography in the South Bronx, where she looked at informal financial services, and a third paper which kind of took a 30,000-foot look at the term of resilience, along with the data that she had collected to really interrogate how useful that term is and how policymakers and funders might use it. Her committee members were Bob Buckley, Timon McPherson, and Ruth Ray. I think both Timon and Ray are in the audience, so thank you all for being on Tony's dissertation committee, and congratulations, Dr. Castro-Cozio. I know Tony's mother and brother are here. Tony's mother came from Mexico also. Hello, up there, there you are. Bienvenidos. I'd next like to call up Linda Silva Thompson. I have also worked with Linda for a long time. I get to do the hood. This is the real official stuff. Linda also did a really interesting ethnographic dissertation. We had talked for a long time. Linda has been interested in asset building for lower income communities, and particularly communities of color. And as we were talking about her interests a couple of years ago, she shared with me that someone in her office, she was a dean at Monroe College, had asked her to put some money in a drawer because this man who was a maintenance worker was participating in a very informal lending circle. Some of you may know about these things that work particularly in immigrant communities. And Linda noticed it and decided that she wanted to understand more. Nobody has written about how these informal lending and saving circles operate in workplaces. So she identified a very new trend, actually participated in one of them, and found that there'd been a 30-year tradition of these things at the college. So she really shed light on these policy debates about the banked versus the unbanked, because a lot of policymakers would say that these people who were participating were members of an underbanked community, but they didn't think of themselves that way, and they were using those ROSCAs, as they're called, to save for buying homes and for their children's education and all kinds of really interesting things. Linda's dissertation title is Moving from Rags to Riches, Together or Alone, Underground Cooperative Savings, an ethnography of workplace rotating savings and credit associations. Her committee members were Erica Colarenas and Aubrey Bonet. Congratulations. Say congratulations, Dr. Silva Thompson. That's important.
All right. So next, I have the distinct pleasure to introduce another one of my colleagues, Erica Cole-Arenas, who recently completed her book. Whoops. The Self-Help Myth, How Philanthropy Fails to Alleviate Poverty, published by the University of California. Erica is an assistant professor of nonprofit management, and she will do the hooding for Johanna Taylor. And I'm plugging this scholarship because one of the most profound things that we get to do as faculty is train the next generation of scholars. So I'm proud that our faculty continues to engage in that scholarship and that we're creating a pipeline, Erica.
Good afternoon, everybody. And where's Joanna? I want you to join me. You got to be here for this. I am so pleased to congratulate Joanna Taylor on a really fabulous and important dissertation entitled Community of Art, Community of Justice, Understanding the Social and Political Impact of the Arts in Urban Neighborhoods. I chair Joanna's committee along with Lydia Matthews, who's a Parsons faculty, and Lisa Servone. And this is my first ever dissertation to complete and graduate, only having received mine 6 years ago, so I am extra proud of Joanna. We had a great time learning how to do this together, and she taught me as much as I taught her, so I'm really proud of Joanna. Her study looks at the role of cultural organizing as a tool for social justice, and it's a grounded ethnography of Corona, Queens. And so she documents the work of the Queens Museum, of Immigrant Movement International, Mobile Print Power. So it's a really important grounded ethnography for scholars and practitioners alike to look out for. So congratulations, Joanna. I'm also extra proud to announce that she departs for Stanford University in September. Where she will begin a postdoctoral fellowship at the Stanford Art Institute, which is housed between the Urban Studies and the Art Department. So congratulations again.
To be continued, right, Derek? Next year. Now I would like to invite the chairs to individually give brief remarks about their respective programs and present the award winners from their respective programs. First, you'll hear from Ana Baptista, Chair of the Environmental Policy and Sustainability Management Program, Stephen Collier, Chair of the GPIA Program, Michael Park, Chair of Nonprofit and OCM, and Alec Gershberg, Chair of Urban Policy. Anna, please come up.
Good afternoon, everyone, and congratulations to all of you, the families and friends, and also the graduates. You all look so relieved. It's great. It's a great feeling, I'm sure. Well, I'm extremely honored today to present the awards for the Environmental Policy and Sustainability Management Program. Our program really prepares students for the increasingly complex, difficult challenges facing our environment, and every day in the news we hear the latest trends on climate change, everything from record-breaking temperatures, droughts, air quality, the future of renewables. These are things that are in our everyday lives now, and our students, I'm proud to say, are armed with all the critical skills that they're going to need to tackle these messy issues. And not just the innovations and the policies and the technologies, which I know they have full mastery of. I'm very confident of that. But also what they have is an empathy and an attentiveness to the way in which these issues impact our most vulnerable and our most marginalized communities around the world. And this is a testament to the caliber of all of our students who are graduating today. I am so very proud of all of them. They all deserve awards, and I'm very excited to see them flourish and get started on their environmental and sustainability careers. So I'm going to first present the winner of this year's John Clinton Environmental Policy and Sustainability Management Outstanding Student Award. That award is named for the founder of our program, John Clinton, and this year we had the pleasure of having him return to teach the advanced seminar, which some of you took with him. So it was a special treat because John is a great mentor and a great teacher. And this year's award goes to Anna Morandi. All right, let me say a few words about Anna. This tells you how popular she is there. So Anna, she didn't get the award just because her name is similar, okay? She came to our program from a very different academic and professional background, but she had a clear passion for the environment. She dove headfirst into the program. I remember her first class, the Sustainability Perspectives class, when she realized John Muir might have been a racist. It really disturbed her. But she made the most of her time here as a graduate student. She sought out collaborations and courses across many disciplines. She became an active member of the Sustainable Cities Club. She worked on research in the Tishman Environment and Design Center. And most importantly, Anna is a connector, right? She connected to students and faculty and peers across the university, across Milano. And she really fostered an environment of collaboration and exploration with her peers, which is really reflective of our program. So, we're not just training the next generation of environmental professionals, we're really nurturing the next wave of movement builders and social change agents, and that's what Anna demonstrates so beautifully. So congratulations, Anna. All right, and lastly, we have the winner of the Best Professional Development Report, which is the report that many of you do in your final semester in your capstone experience. And this year's winner is Charlotte Bell for her paper. Come on up, Charlotte. So Charlotte's paper was called Long-Term Affordability for Water and Housing, a Case Study in Affordable Housing and Water Tariffs in New York City. Charlotte's excellent PDR looks at the disproportionate burden that rapidly increasing water tariffs impose on the poor of New York City. She recommends solutions for eliminating property loans imposed due to unpaid water bills that presently result in loss of thousands of homes for poor families. Her work has far-reaching implications for the deep-rooted structural environmental injustices, ranging from recent Flint water crisis to the national crumbling water infrastructure. So we commend her for her in-depth research and her diligent efforts to produce an exceptional report. Congratulations.
Hello again, my name is Stephen Collier. I'm the chair of the graduate program in international affairs, and I want to join Mary and Michelle and the faculty in welcoming all of you tonight. In presenting student awards, I always think it's extremely important to emphasize that while we are honoring the work of specific individuals, we're also celebrating qualities and achievements that we think are shared by all of today's graduates. We admire your curiosity about the world, your determination to learn through engagement, and your creativity. We are inspired by your commitment to approach international affairs not just as a body of facts to be known or a collection of problems to be fixed, but also as a matter of making things, of changing relationships, and perhaps of making new ways of knowing and new ways of relating. And as you move through the next stages of your lives, we very much hope that you will carry with you not only skills and knowledge, but also critical capacities and an unwillingness to accept easy definitions of problems or easy solutions. A critical attitude may be part of the luxury that is afforded to you by your time in an academic institution. But it is no less important outside of the academy, and we're counting on you to insist on such an attitude in worlds of work in which far too much value is placed on deliverables and benchmarked outcomes, and in which finding space and time for patient thought requires a constant struggle. On to the awards. The first award used to be called the Student Award, and this year I'm very pleased to announce that we have renamed this award for the founding director of GPIA, Michael Cohen. The GPIA faculty felt that the qualities that we want to honor in the recipient of this award are qualities that Mike instilled in our program as its founder and through his many years of leadership. Among these are a multidisciplinary and multi-perspectival approach to international affairs, a commitment to blending theory and practice and to engaged learning, a sense that there is a political and social urgency to our work, Finally, and crucially, a commitment to serving and building our community at GPIA and at the new school. The first winner of the Michael Cohen Award is Ella Colley, who Ella, in her time here, has been resolutely interdisciplinary, working across international affairs and media studies, and over 2 years of studying international affairs, she's become a talented producer, cinematographer, and editor. She has built up an impressive portfolio which includes a film she and fellow students completed during the International Field Program in Brazil. She's also committed to the proposition that many voices and perspectives are needed to understand complex international problems. This is particularly evident in her work on participatory media and interactive documentary, which culminated in her thesis film on the web doc Voz Nativa. Finally, Ella has made singular contributions to GPIA and to the new school. Among many other things, she has animated the work of the Engage Media Laboratory, and she has been an indispensable part of the Center for New York City Affairs Inside Schools initiatives. For all of these reasons, we are very happy to present Ella with the first Michael A. Cohen Award. The second award for Best Thesis goes to Youssef Khalil for his thesis, From Arab Nation to Islamic State, Neoliberalism and the Resurgence of an Islamic Subjectivity. Youssef's thesis is an ambitious inquiry into the idioms of oppositional identity in the Middle East and North Africa today. His project was motivated by political developments that followed the so-called Arab Spring revolts, acute polarization, political violence, and the resurgent strength of Islamist political parties. He argues that neoliberal reforms have profoundly destabilized the legitimacy of governments grounded in the Arab nationalism of the Cold War era. Yet the political alternatives to Arab nationalism provide no program for addressing the region's social or economic problems. Drawing on post-colonial theories of political subjectivity and a detailed analysis of post-colonial state-making, Youssef understands this lacuna by investigating the constitutive anti-modernism of oppositional politics in the region. The thesis committee was deeply impressed by the historical scope of this work and by the sophistication of Youssef's analysis. We are very happy to honor him with the Best Thesis Award. The final award for the outstanding practicum goes to Jessica Dandridge, Spencer Feingold, Shadi Garman, and Darnu Doro Parno Hadiningrat. I paused, but I got through it though. For the Gumbo Yaya project. The project grew out of an internship that Jessica completed with the National Urban League, which convinced her that the league needed to do more to engage youth, but had no effective mechanism to do so. As a practicum team, Jessica, Spencer, Shadi, and Danodoro also recommended that the Urban League should expand its mission to address the social and cultural heterogeneity of youth of color today. As one initiative to meet this goal, they created a curated newsletter, producing 5 issues over the course of the semester and 1 well-attended event. The challenge Gumbo Yaya posed to the National Urban League is relevant for all of us. How to make international affairs relevant given the diverse reality of the U.S. today. Jessica, Shadi, Danodoro, and Spencer, congratulations. Please join me in congratulating these awardees and all of the graduates of the GPA class of 2016.
Hello, everyone. I'm Michael Park. I have the honor of chairing the management programs at Milano. Greetings as well to the families. Thank you for being here, and congratulations to the graduates. I tend to agree with Margaret Wheatley, a research scientist and author and management theorist, who has said that management, the discipline of management, is fundamentally about aspirations. She notes that with alarming frequency, the movements, the agencies, the institutions, and even the businesses that we create fall far short of the aspirations that inspired them and that inspired us to come together to create them. The students in these programs who are graduating today have spent the last couple of years because they noticed that gap. It was apparent to them in the organizations from which they came, and they determined to spend some time understanding how they could manage better, how we could make the institutions, the organizations, the agencies, the movements of which we are a part more fully live up to the aspirations of our heart. So on behalf of the management faculty, congratulations to all of you, not only those who we're honoring today, but every one of you who is graduating. We are confident that as you continue your journey in whatever sector and position you choose, you will be forces of change in the world and a source of hope for our collective future. So I'm proud and happy to especially honor a few following students graduating from the two management programs today. In nonprofit management, our Outstanding Student Award is to Sunaina Rao. I'm relatively new here, so I've not had the pleasure of working very directly with Sunaina. And I'm afraid that I'm going to be far less eloquent in your praise than those who know you better and who have worked with you better. But let me try to express why the faculty singled out Sunaina for this honor. Sunaina came to us with an interest in nonprofit management, but has studied deeply and widely throughout the offerings of Milano. She's become an expert in many of the areas that we specialize here, particularly in international affairs and understanding the world. The faculty has experienced Sunaina as deeply thoughtful and one who exemplifies particularly our aspiration that our students become critical thinking practitioners. She does this in a way that also engages as a positive, proactive, and creative problem solver. One example that I'll share with you, and for work last year, is with Groundswell Teaching Artists in a year-long knowledge-based project. Sunaina found particularly creative ways to celebrate the accomplishments of her team, of her class, and of her partners. She adopted the metaphor of scaffolding, which is important and used in the programs to recognize and to celebrate the work of her team. In this, she showed a very deep respect for the worldview, the systems, the language of her partners. We have great confidence that Sunaina's contributions to the field will continue to grow and that we will hear more of your impact. So congratulations. In the nonprofit management program, the Outstanding Paper Award goes to Jolene Housen. Jolene's PDR is titled Inventory Management at NOMI Network, a Professional Decision Report. In the range of outstanding paper titles, this one is rather unassuming, but it tells the story of deep work to accomplish an amazing purpose. And in that way, it is much like its author, Jolene Housen, whose quiet, humble demeanor is supported by deep, careful work, powered by great heart. The NOMI network creates opportunities, economic opportunities for survivors and for women at risk of human trafficking. They provide training, product development, and marketing support through programs located in Phnom Penh, Cambodia, and Bihar, India. The women who go through these training programs, with the assistance of others around the world, then design and create high-quality products sold in fashion and furniture channels worldwide. The income returns to the women who design and make these projects. But this is a network, not a single organization. It leverages the skill sets of writers, lawyers, fashion designers, accountants, retailers, teachers, artists, small business owners, all focused on attacking the root causes of human trafficking, which is poverty. So where does Jolene's work come in? As the network has grown, it needed to develop a much more sophisticated approach to catalog, store, and manage its inventory of products. The system needed to facilitate commercial clients as well as home-based event sales and adjust to seasonal flows of demand and replenishing supply. And it needed to be a cost-effective solution to ensure maximum revenue return to the network's mission. This is the nuts and bolts aspect of management, often unsung, but which is so important in delivering on the promise of a mission. The project led Jolene to develop expertise that I'm guessing she would not have mapped out in the beginning of her studies at Milano, like learning the intricacies of barcoding systems. The faculty commend this paper for its creative, thoroughly researched solutions with a design that is ready to be implemented. Please join me in honoring Jolene for this important contribution. Now please join me in recognizing the following students in the Organizational Change Management Program. The Outstanding Student Award here goes to Chelsea Weber. Chelsea came to Milano 2 years ago after completing Peace Corps in Panama. She was filled with a lot of questions about how to make organizations more effective and a lot of ideas to try out. In her own endeavors, she exemplifies the sector-neutral approach to organizational management and change that we embrace in the program, having worked in international development, community advocacy, formal and informal educational institutions, and as a consultant to business, small and large, much of this while pursuing her graduate studies. And I understand that she's just been hired full-time as an associate at the place where she's been working. Chelsea was a leader of the student group Change Forum, and not once but twice she was requested by faculty members to serve as a teaching assistant in their courses. Both of these courses were practice-based courses with live clients. In each of these courses, she partnered with her peers and her professors to significantly improve the outcomes, not only for that section, but also to improve the course over the long run. In these settings, Chelsea's highly supportive of her colleagues' development while gently reaching out to give feedback and coaching. I suspect to both the students and to the professors. Chelsea's professors have noted her significant development from the time she entered the program until today. Her growth in professional readiness, emotional intelligence, and confidence has been inspiring to us all. In one instance where she was a student, she and her partner were remarkably resourceful in pulling findings out of very basic data from a somewhat reluctant client that they had on hand but they had not paid attention to. They brought clear insight to the client. She cares deeply about the program and its constant improvement, and we're thrilled that she'll continue to be involved in these ways as an alumna. Congratulations. So this year, the PPQs completed by the graduating OCM students were very strong. In fact, Two of them were so excellent that we felt they must both be honored as outstanding, because they were. By an odd coincidence, both of these honorees were students in the first course that I ever taught at Milano. And despite that, they went on to produce extraordinary work. Please welcome first Andrew Fat Trilling. Andy's paper is entitled Innovation and Collaboration in Human Services, a Community of Practice Approach. Andrew is writing his paper in the context of significant seismic shifts in the area of his focus, which is working with people with developmental disabilities. It's a shift from facilities-based bureaucratic structures engaging in prescriptive service plans to one where they are acting in partnership with those being served to access helpful resources through a very much wider community and set of community organizations. This shift to community-based services requires a shift in management structures as well that relies less on proximate direct supervision and more on staff who can flexibly apply knowledge and access resources in collaboration with the people whom they are serving. To address this challenge, Andy explored the idea of communities of practice, informal networks of practitioners who share common goals and practices and who learn through their interactions with each other. Andy's paper included ambitious primary research and a study of piloting this approach in multiple locations, and it's an outstanding piece of scholarship. So congratulations, Andy. The second and final honoree from the management programs is Emily Kessler. Emily's paper is The Alignment of OD and Design Thinking, Opportunities for Practice. Emily's paper explores design thinking, a problem-solving methodology that's increasingly influenced management thinking, management practice, and academic programs, but she points out an obvious missing link, that this methodology has largely been absent from the education, the practice, and the discourse in the field of organization development. This is a simple observation, but a profound omission, such that most of us who read Emily's paper had the reaction of thumping our foreheads and going, duh. Why has nobody written about this before? I have to say that Emily's execution of this topic, as original as it is, also is of note because it's written in a thoroughly accessible, highly persuasive style, likely to provoke responses of interest, debate, and inclusion rather than burying this finding in academic obfuscation. Something tells me that this is not the last we've heard of this particular contribution to our field, and I know it's not the last that we will have heard from Emily, so congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm Alec Gershberg. I'm the chair of the Urban Policy Analysis and Management Program. We are always last because urban starts with U, I think. Well, more than half of the world's population now live in cities, and while cities are clearly an efficient as well as an exciting way for human beings to organize ourselves, they also come with challenges. Some of these challenges are inherent in the nature of cities, while others grow out of the fabric of the societies in which they are found. The Urban Policy Program prepares leaders who can work for the public good, mostly, but not only, in cities, in a wide range of settings, in government, in the private sector, in academic institutions, in small nonprofits, and in large international agencies. And we do this with an unparalleled emphasis on experiential learning and a focus on social justice. Our students work, as you've heard from other programs, for real clients in real time under very tight deadlines. And the one thing I've consistently heard from employers over the years is that your students know how to get things done. And that's what we're going for. We're also proud to be the recipient of the 2015 Social Equity Award, which were awarded by the Network of Schools of Public Policy Affairs and Administration as a tribute to the work of the faculty, students, and our public programming in the area of social equity. But I actually don't need to give any more of a speech about the program because this year's award recipients exemplify it perfectly, and as Stephen said, also exemplify characteristics and attributes that we expect to see in all of our graduates. So I can just talk about the award recipients, and by doing that, I can also talk about all of you. Before I do that, though, I need to chivvy all of the urban policy graduates that you must fill out the exit survey and the diagnostic that we sent you. It is very important. It is a requirement, and we need to get the response rate up, all right? So please do that. In the advanced seminar, students cultivate a client and a project themselves and produce what we call a professional decision report, known as a PDR, or our equivalent of a master's thesis capstone project. I'd first like to give an honorable mention to a pair that are not listed in your program and people who won't come up on stage, but you can raise your hand if you want. And I'd also like to note that the 3 projects I'm going to mention, one was done for government, one was done for a nonprofit, and one was done for the private sector. Miguel Williams, I don't know if you're here, he did his PDR. He did his PDR for the Committee for Better Banks on how bank employees can recognize and help prevent when sales goals are set so high as to incentivize improper behavior and fraud. And Michael Williams, is Michael here? All right. Michael worked for a media company to analyze strategic business ventures to create shared value by empowering women of color in mass media while making a fair profit. It's a good piece of work. This year's award for the outstanding PDR in urban policy goes to Ryan Ahern. Ryan, you could come up. Ryan's client was New York City's Human Resource Administration, known as HRA, specifically the Office of Evaluation and Research. It's called Strategies for Evaluating the Impact of the Provision of Legal Aid in Housing Court for Homelessness Prevention. It examines a wide range of data, from administrative data to surveys of shelter residents to illustrative case studies, and recommends practical but sound analytic strategies for HRA to evaluate how well their suite of legal services and interventions are performing in protecting the most vulnerable from eviction by unscrupulous landlords. Perhaps more impressive is that Ryan was now hired by his client, which is exactly what we want to happen. In part to continue this work, and he's now working as city research scientist for HRA's Deputy Commissioner for Evaluation and Research. Congratulations, Ron. The Urban Policy Outstanding Student Award is named after Jacob M. Kaplan, the former owner of the Welch Grape Juice Company, who was a stalwart friend of the New School and helped found the Center for New York City Affairs, which, as you've heard, the Milano School grew out of. And many of you may not know that the building that we all refer to as 12th Street is actually Kaplan Hall as well. 25 graduates met the minimum criteria of a 3.5 GPA or better, so grades were not decisive. Finalists included Jasmine Fernandez. Jasmine, I saw you here. Krista Carter. Is Krista here? This year's awardee is Chiara Passerini. Chiara, can you come up? Stand here while I talk about you a little bit. I didn't embarrass you. She did happen to have a perfect 4.0 GPA, but, which is rare, I have to say. But it was her contributions to the school that really stood out. She was a teaching assistant in the Urban Policy Lab. She's been very generous in offering her time, contacts, and help to other students in a range of courses and projects while taking full advantage of everything that Milano has to offer. An Italian national, Chiara lived in 8 different countries by the time she was 18 and developed an interest in culture that eventually led her to a master's degree in anthropology at University College London, where she first took an interest in issues of gentrification. However, she ended up working for Accenture, where she had what she described to me as her quarter-life crisis. And as an avid runner, she became the program director for a nonprofit called Back on My Feet that uses running and community to motivate and support individuals to move from homelessness to independence. Like most of you, she was attracted to the New School by its progressive values and its emphasis on applied learning. She focused here mostly on community and urban development, but also took the International Field Program. She went to India, where she collected oral histories of women in slums. One of our faculty, Rachel Meltzer, recommended her for a short gig at Urbane, a community development consulting firm, and she never left. She's now their lead researcher, leading quantitative and qualitative studies from New York to Detroit to Oakland, helping guide affordable housing projects, the creation of culturally relevant food distribution in underserved neighborhoods, and more. She's told me she's happy, but she's likely to pursue a PhD at some point soon. And we all know she's an addicted student, so she probably will. In closing, I will say about Chiara what I could say about each of our graduates, which is that we are sure you will be a credit to your new environments as you have been to ours, and that you will embody our mission statement that says, our program prepares students to go out into the world and change it. Congratulations, Chiara, and all of the Urban Policy graduates. Back to you, Michelle.
Thank you. It's really wonderful to hear about all of your incredible scholarship. Let's give one more round of applause to all of our student winners. So we have 2 more awards before we proceed to call you up here, the whole class. And I have the distinct honor of presenting the Milano Dean's Commendation to Alexandria McBride. Alexandria McBride, she's wondering, what are you going to say? Alexandria McBride will be receiving her Master's of Science in Environmental Policy and Sustainability Management. But Alexandria is a very proud alumna of Howard University, from which she received her BS Environmental Engineering. So that's the first thing you have to know. But for those of you that don't know Alex, as most of us call her, she has an unending ability to multitask. For those of you that do not know me, being my research assistant clearly requires that ability. As the story goes, I met Alexandria when we were both living in Washington, D.C. After overhearing her tell a friend that she was applying to several graduate schools, Milano being one of them, I introduced myself as the dean, and the rest is history. Alexandria became my research assistant for the entire length of her studies. Alexandria deftly spanned working across my 2 responsibilities of being the Dean of Milano and Director of the Tishman Environment Design Center, at times representing me with marketing and communications, the Provost's office, the President's office, numerous Dean's office, and staff and faculty throughout the university, and extremely well. It was not uncommon for me to receive notes from around the university after staff or faculty had met Alexandria, praising her for her professionalism, deaf skill, and all-around good nature. So they were glad they met with you instead of me. In a word, Alexandria was much more than an apprentice. She was a partner over the past 2 years. Alex has an amazing ability to execute at the drop of a hat. I once famously called her from an airplane before the doors closed and invited her to attend the conference that I was on my way to. She was on location by that evening. I still marvel at that. What, might you ask, did this superwoman accomplish while she was here? Both academically and in practice, Alexandria shone brightly. For the past 2 years, she's assisted me in the startup of TEDC, Tishman Center, being there from the very beginning of the design of the faculty charrettes, leading student input, and co-designing strategic planning sessions. Alexandria was the first Tishman Environment and Design Center scholar. Her research project, entitled Assessing the Impact of Environmental Education on Minority STEM Interests, was presented to staff and faculty during Earth Week to much acclaim. Alexandria partnered with the Barack Obama Green Charter High School, founded by a GPIA alum, and the HBCU Climate Change Initiative to conduct her research. The leadership and staff of TEDC was so pleased with the results of this scholarship working fellows model that Alexandria piloted this year that we prototyped the model and launched a formal student scholars program with 3 additional students for next year. Alexandria also curated the New School New York Parsons Paris project, which has yielded one of the strongest connections with Parsons Paris to date, bringing faculty and students to campus to share projects and scholarship on sustainability. And as co-designer of our first Earth Week celebration, it was her brainchild to invite DJ Spooky, composer, multimedia artist who helped us launch the connections between environmentalism and performance art in a very big way. Alexandria was an active member of the executive leadership boards of the New Black School and New York chapter of Environmental Professions of Color. She was instrumental in bringing Black Lives Matters 101, a comprehensive course in Black social movements, to campus last month after 2 semesters of work. Almost done. At Milano, she has contributed to a long list of projects working with various faculty to get them started, including the Partnership Hub, the Henry Cohen Lecture Series, and the Social Justice Philanthropy Roundtable. After graduation, she's off to DC to start as the Director of Environment and Sustainability at the Information Technology Industry Council, becoming a global voice for the technology sector and environment. I could not be prouder of Alexandria. And I have to share this moment with her mother and father, 2 sisters and baby brother, who are all out there, I know. Grinning from ear to ear, I am sure. But what I'm most proud of is that Alexandria is a staunch believer in environmental justice and has blossomed from one interested in the field to an advocate, organizer, and scholar on the topic. Alexandria, thank you for being such a contributor to Milano and the New School community, and more personally, for me, a trusted friend. Congratulations to you. Now I'd like to call up Associate Dean Nina Krisheva to the podium.
Thank you. I will be presenting the Dean's Commendation Award to Gabrielle Nicole Belli, who is a student, or now will be a former student as of tomorrow, of Julian J. Studley Graduate Program of International Affairs. It is my great, great pleasure to present Gabrielle with this award. She worked with the Dean's office in the past year. Mostly she worked with me, and those who know me, she survived. She graduates from GPIA in the Conflict and Security concentration with a perfect 4.0 GPA. With equal seriousness, however, she is able to discuss the Syrian refugee crisis and which superhero movie character would best describe the current presidential candidates. Is Hillary Clinton a Wonder Woman or a Supergirl? Is Bernie Sanders truly a Captain America? And who on earth is Donald Trump? Gabrielle, her most remarkable quality is her attention to detail, especially a rarity in a millennial. Of course, you are all perfect. But generally, we know that the younger people they're just way too busy Snapchatting, well, you see how old I am, and Instagramming through it all. That was not Gabrielle. At a university, as you now know very well, is procedurally challenged. For the dean's office, among many other things, she did a great thing, which is she crafted a great number of guidelines that range from how to apply for a stipend to how to communicate with your professor. All important stuff. Thank you, darling. We'll miss you in the dean's office.
We will now have the presentation of the graduates. Okay, you will go. Okay.
I will now ask the deans to please come forward. And I will now ask the chair and faculty for the Organizational Change Management Program, Organizational Development Certificate, and Leadership and Change Certificate to please step forward. Will now the graduates in the Organizational Change Management Program, the Certificate in Leadership and Change, and Certificate in Organizational Development, please rise. Serena Aquino. Alyssa Jara Reyes. Emily Catherine Jarvis. Mariam Alcalde. Kali Mincy. Katra Dejan.
Yay!
Nick Moore. Thomas Asefa. Patricia Samperi. Dahlia Trinidad. Kelly Titus. Kathy Zamora. Andrew Fat Trilling. Emily Kessler. Chelsea Weber. Will the faculty of the nonprofit management program? Okay, you're still up there, great. Okay, great. Will the graduates in nonprofit management program please rise? Natasha Peterson. Leah Schechter. Sarah Maharan. Noor Sumaya Kalyonju. Jimena Vivanco. Kimberly Tronaloni. Chloe Stein. Caitlin Julius. Corin Martin. Misha Bird. Tyler Burton. Juliana White. Brian Moran. Clayton Neighbors. Christina Baptiste. Hadley Cooper. Alina Babulal. Sunaina Rao. Jolene Halzen. Finn Brigham. Management faculty can now take seats. Now, will the faculty for the Environmental Policy and Sustainability Management Program and Certificate in Sustainability Strategies please come forward? And now will the graduates for Environmental Policy and Sustainability Management and Certificate in Sustainability Strategies please come forward? Simon Henschel. Chelsea Hyan. Erin Horleman. Lindsay O'Neill Caffrey. Jacqueline Mitchell. Gianna Zapiti. Christopher Beck. Purva Badhi. Allison James. Christine Samwaru. Amber Sass. Laura Marincola. Michaela Dowdy. Anna Morandi. Alexandria McBride. Danielle Robinson. Annabelle Vinois. Charlotte Bell. Colin Keegan. Katerina Isaeva. Anel Cabrera. You may not take a seat. Now, will the faculty for the Urban Policy Program and Masters in Philosophy please come forward? Now, will the graduates for the Urban Policy Program and Masters in Philosophy please rise? Rebecca Hollander. Jasmine Fernandez. Serge Saint-Leger. Sarah Josephine Barron. Michelle Olivero. Allison Harmon. Chiara Passerini. Michael Campbell. Michael Williams. Kelsey O'Hara. Alexander Bryden. Phyllis Mary Ellington. April Roman. Leah Icon. Annie Stupp. Andrew Garin. Adam Thalenfeld. Omari Williams. Miguel Williams. Mackenzie Gibson. Maria Drobnak. Tyrone Grandstrand. Benjamin Jackson. Laura Javarini. Ryan Ahern. Krista Carter. Now will the chair and faculty for the Julian J. Studley Graduate Program in International Affairs please come forward. Yeah, they're all here. Now will the graduates for the Julian J. Studley Graduate Program in International Affairs please rise and come forward. Emily Rothenberg. Isaac Hong. Benjamin Ace. Perla Dahlia Natalie Yael Herskovitz. Amanda Plotchik. Ella Coley. Natasha Javed. Sheila Aquara. Gabrielle Belly. Lisa Lynn Hill. Jessica Dandridge. Yusuf Khalil. Colby Silver. Ardra Manasi Unitan. Danodoro Pano Hadinengrat. Nicholas Palombo. Michael Rosenblum. Matthew Marlant. Rosana Guerra. John Selbert Sapita. Kathleen Morris. Malky Garf. Andrea Gonzalez Maroto. Tessa Jenks. Rachel Stevens. Ashley Buchalter. Samuel Namir Olivares Bonilla. Kelsey Evans. Christina Jean-Louis. Jamila Georgi Galieva. Wala Hassan. Eddie Pierre. Nader Rahman. Matthew Amaral. Marta Samuel Stewin. Nadine Lehner. Helena Groenberg. Hardy Luke Doherty. Caitlin Vincent. Jessica DeRovi. Daphne Regenhart. Monica Yaguno Zambrano. Kat Robbo. Elise Greenblatt. Brennan Camp. Veronica DeCesar. Diana Alston. Isabel Tañedo. Aracel Garcia. Alexandra Vasquez. Mayoel Gomez Okedis. Nicole Karushko. Chantel Ellis. David Sakova. Ilaria Gallardoni. Sarah Cooper Tognoli. Adana Austin. Vikram Rastogi. Tamara Lane. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your graduating class of 2016.
is the time. We have to tell you where to go. We're not going to keep you much longer. I just really, all I want to do is to say one final congratulations. It has been our pleasure and our honor to be with you over these few years. And also to thank the staff who really worked hard to be able to put this day together for you. And I specifically have to thank Nana Mokusi, and I would have to say her name right after she just busted that out. All right. And Chrissy Roden, Hyacinth Sargent, and Minerva Muskies. Thank you. And students Diari D.A., and Sansha George, and all of the staff and faculty that helped us put this together. But I have one person in particular that I have to give a big round of thanks to. You know her as your Student Affairs Director, Laretha Slaughter. Laretha Slaughter. Now we know who had the open door over these last couple of years. Thank you, Laretha. It's been a beautiful, beautiful ceremony and quite touching. And now I want to turn it over to Nana, who's going to tell you where to go so you can celebrate with your family and how to actually exit. Again, congratulations, graduates.
All right, so we're going to give the graduates an opportunity to greet their guests at the reception. I ask International Affairs, please go up and to your left to take either the stairs, if you're sprightly, or the elevator up to the 5th floor for your reception. The urban program, EPSM program, OCM, NPM, missing one. Nonprofit? All the rest of y'all over on that side, yeah. You'll take the exit to the right for your reception on the 2nd floor. So students, go ahead. Guests, please stay seated until students have reached their reception area.